You know, you've got kids, I've got kids. Sometimes you can tell your kid 1,000 times, don't do this thing. And maybe it's dangerous, not terribly dangerous, but he might get a little bit hurt. And then eventually you think, okay, he's not going to listen to me, so he's just going to have to learn his lesson. So I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let the swing hit him in the head or something, and then he'll learn. I think culture's sometimes like that. And it sucks that it's like that. But I feel like if I was out there in the 80s proclaiming the evil of pornography in the way that I do it today, which I think is quite convincing with statistics and logic, I don't think I would have moved the needle at all. I sometimes wonder if we had to bury our heads into that dumpster and eat long enough as a culture to then vomit it all out to now get to a point where people are like, maybe you shouldn't be masturbating to your screen, just saying. And now it seems like, yeah, that seems very unhealthy. Whereas if you said that in the 80s, someone would have called you a prude. Likewise with rap, maybe being a degenerate. You know, now it's unoriginal to be degenerate. So maybe now we're swinging back in the other direction. Same thing with YouTube content, right? And so on and so forth, which sounds a little defeatist. It kind of sounds like, well, you're not going to change culture, so don't even try. These are waves that come and go. I still think there's something to there, but
I think, here's what I think. I think that's a very great observation from 80s to porn and the rap. I think the best way to change culture is not by trying to change culture. It's by building better culture. So I think if we pull people into a world where, hey, we love our wives and we lead our homes and our children are respectful and they get the right amount of, I love you as you are, but I want you to be great. And we create communities and foster culture that's better. We live a better story and a better narrative, which I believe that's the whole point of the gospel and the message of Jesus and the cross is, hey, death is not the end. It can overcome. Oh, and by the way, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. We're praying that we get a piece of heaven on this side of eternity so we can be the hands and feet of Jesus, so that we can care for the least of these, make the most of our time, talent, and treasure, and giving people like helpful guardrails on how to live their life. I think when we build better culture and live a better story, that to me is what's going to move the needle. And I think, unfortunately, in many circles, I can't speak to your Catholic circles, but within my circles, it's a lot of just reactionary, they're bad, look at the bad, instead of like equipping people to be the good. And so, you know, when people are like, hey, I started watching your channel, I got me a prayer journal, I'm 120 days sober. Like I'm on my second prayer journal. I write in it every day. I read my Bible every day. And this has been a part of my sobriety journal. And now I'm developing useful skills and I'm in a local church and I'm healthy and I'm losing weight and I'm exercising for the first time. Like we're building better culture, you know, or, hey, I didn't know that being able to provide in this way for my family was even possible, but I listened to this and I got equipped and now my marriage is better because like now we're building better culture by giving people the resources and the things that you and I probably have done behind the scenes for decades. We're now able to kind of impart some of that wisdom into people's lives and they can take it and say, hey, my heart is, I don't want someone to have to go through a decade of struggling with pornography and wandering in the wilderness on how to get this thing off of them. I want to compress that time for people and say, hey, learn from my scars. Let me show you my scars. I'm going to be open about it. And let's compress that time for you so that you don't have to stay stuck. You know, so we put together a thing called mastermyhabits.com. It's a course that me and my therapist did a couple years ago on just a simple way to help people. Hey, this is what habits are. This is how addictions are bad. This is what this does. This is how you find freedom. And this is a licensed therapist walking you through it so that people can get out of that cycle of pornography, so that people can get out of these self-destructive cycles. And again, I think that's how we change cultures, by building better culture.
Right. Yeah. If I just try to tell you what's true, you can argue with it. But if I show you something that's beautiful, that can sometimes be overwhelming in a good sense. I was at the beach recently and my children, one of my daughters said, you can tell they're Christian, Dad. And she's like, because they're happy and they dress modestly. And that, what she said there, it may sound like it to cynical ears, but it wasn't a condemnation of other people. She actually saw people who were happy and dress modestly and said, you can tell that they're Christian. And I think she's right. When I see a family that's intact and they're just sort of joyful, you think, okay, Christian, Mormon, Jewish, like they're living for a higher power, you know, or what they consider to be a higher power.
Yeah, that's good. I was at Great Wolf Lodge, and
terrifying place.
You don't like it?
I said to my wife 10 minutes in, I think this has turned me off sex forever.
Why?
Because there's so many unattractive, fat, almost naked people walking around in front of me. I almost came to despise the body and became Gnostic.
That wasn't my experience.
What was your? But see, you're in San Diego. You're where all the beautiful people are.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay.
But no, this is what I noticed. I noticed a couple things. So this is what I know. I started like, I kind of like listening to people and people watching, and I noticed that there was like an overwhelming influx of people who are Christians. And some of it is what you pointed out, the modesty bit, but others of like, I'm hearing this guy walk by, I'm going to go read my Bible. I got to find somewhere to read my Bible. I got to go do this. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, the ability to get to a place in life where you can even do something as simple as take your family on a little trip is going to, that stuff's going to get harder and harder in this economy and with everything that's happening. And the folks who can get a hold of like God's wisdom, those are the folks that are going to be able to enjoy a simple thing like going to Great Wolf Lodge. Yeah. And so it was this interesting influx of people of faith there based on me actually overhearing how they're talking, the things they're talking about, and seeing some of them break away and be like, I got to go. Because I was there in the morning waiting for food, and I looked around, I was like, multiple people there, they're reading their Bible, multiple people. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, this is interesting, you know, that this is where we are. And so I think the best example that we can give is just a changed life. Like, does Jesus actually change us? Does the things we believe transform who we are from the inside out?
I want to tell you about Hallow, which is the #1 downloaded prayer app in the world. It's outstanding. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. Sign up over there right now and you will get the first 3 months for free. That's like a lot of time. You can decide whether it's useful to you or not, whether it's helpful. If you don't like it, you can always quit. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. I use it. My family uses it. It's fantastic. There are over 10,000 audio guided prayers, meditations, and music, including my lo-fi. Hallow has been downloaded over 15 million times in 150 different countries. It helps you pray, helps you meditate, helps you sleep better. It helps you build a daily routine and a habit of prayer. There's honestly so much excellent stuff on this app that it's difficult to get through it all. Just go check it out. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. The link is in the description below. It even has an entire section for kids. So if you're a parent, you could play little Bible stories to them at night. It'll help them pray. Fantastic. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd.